My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on Earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are mad about Mickey, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're the Disney novice just thinking about or currently planning your first ever trip to Walt Disney World and you think that Huey, Louie and Dewey are just some solicitors from EastEnders, then this really is the podcast for you. Every week I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from around the UK to share their memories of magical times, and this week's guest loves Disney so much he's been 1,000,000 times, he's even worked there, he's even written books about it.
Always wanted to be an Imagineer. That's what I wanted from the offset. So I was super excited about getting to know how Walt Disney World worked. I was taking pictures of the bins. I was taking pictures of the curb. I was like, how did they do this?
As well as chatting to Adam, we will catch up with all your Walt Disney World questions, get the latest news from the parks, and if you're about to head over to Orlando, everything you need to know that's going on in and out of the parks. And make sure you keep in touch with us. Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, we are at PodMagical. This is the most magical podcast on Earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. Thanks for your questions that have been coming over this week. We've had a question here from somebody who wants to know, never been on the dining plan before, but we've got it next year. Can we use dining credits for character meals because they look quite expensive to pay for? Well, that's one of the benefits of the character meals. Yes, you can use one dining credit on a character meal. It's well worth the use of it. And as well, if you have a look closely, if you go into Tusker House at Animal Kingdom or Hollywood and Vine over at Hollywood Studios, there's a couple of extra things you can add on. So over at Animal Kingdom, when they've got the nighttime Rivers of Light, if you do the Rivers of Light dining package, and you have to book the Rivers of Light dining package, by the way, you can't just book Tusker House and then say, oh, I want to do the dining package. It's a different booking. But if you do that, that's one table service credit. Same goes over at Hollywood Studios. You want to receive Fantasmic and you want to eat at Hollywood and Vine, then you can book the Hollywood and Vine Fantasmic dining package. So you're getting your buffet, you're getting your character meats, and you're getting a good ticket, a good seat for a couple of the big nighttime shows. Well worth using that dining credit. Yes, is the answer to that. One other question here from Lynn, who has just found out she is pregnant. So what can I and can't I go on at Walt Disney World? Well, you can go and see any of the shows. You can watch the parades, you can watch the fireworks. Probably the simplest way to do it is go for the kiddie rides. That's the best thing to do. If you go to the Walt Disney World website and you have a look at all the attractions, it will tell you which the kiddie guides are. Also, you don't want ones that have got big lap pull-down bars. You wouldn't be wanting that. You wouldn't want to be going on Big Thunder Mountain if you are pregnant. You don't want your waters bursting on there, do you? That's for sure. Any questions, let me know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we are at PodMagical. Same place to go if you fancy being on the podcast for a bit of a chat. And Adam Hatton is here, this week's guest. Thousands of subscribers to your YouTube channel when you vlog from Walt Disney World. You've got books out, you've even worked there. And the one thing that you love more than anything about Walt Disney World is what?
Food. Absolutely love the food. Honestly, if I'm looking forward to a Walt Disney World holiday, the most thing I'm looking forward to is the food, which people probably don't even expect.
That's not the thing that I thought you'd go. It's just the magic of walking down Main Street or being called princess.
Like Walt Disney World for me is literally a second home, but when you're going home, you kind of look forward to like your mum's cooking or something like that. I always look forward to like, oh, I can't wait to go to Katsuro Grill in the Japanese pavilion and go and get katsu curry. Like
that's the thing for you is the food. Because people do say, like, welcome home, but I'm supposed for you, you're probably there more than you are actually at home.
Not exactly, no, but I try to go as often as I can. I think Walt Disney World, I'm probably pacing it about 2 or 3 times a year at the moment. I'm very lucky in that respect.
Weaning yourself off it.
I try to shake it up a little bit. If I go too much, and I think that's what I found at the start of this year when I went in January, if you go too much, you kind of... Not you get complacent with it, but you stop appreciating the little things that you've always really looked forward to. Like when I'm watching a vlog or something, I'm normally very excited about like the noise of the Living with a Land attraction. But when you've done the Living with a Land attraction so many times in 1 year, you kind of stop appreciating it.
Taking it for granted.
Yeah. So this year I took 8 months to not go and get excited about the holiday. Yeah. And I think it's the best holiday I've ever had.
So what was that 8 months like when you weren't there? Were you thinking, were you constantly looking at going, okay, well, there's a cheap flight. If I could just go for like a long weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always checking anyway, because that's how I book my trips. I always go last minute when there's a good offer going.
Oh, we'll get these on the top tips later on.
Oh, yeah.
Get a pencil ready. Let's talk about the first time you went to Walt Disney World. How old were you?
First time I went was 2012. I was 16 years old. My family wanted to do a Universal Studios holiday. Don't get me wrong, love Universal, but I'm a Disney boy. Everybody knows that. And similar to Naomi, Was it Naomi on the show last week?
Yes.
Yes.
The volcanic ash cloud.
The volcanic ash cloud. I was stuck there for an extra 2 weeks. So had I not been stuck there for 2 weeks, I wouldn't have gone to Epcot or Animal Kingdom because we used the free ticket that Disney gave us.
Oh, right. So you initially, that first time you went, where were you going to go?
We had a 2-week ticket to Universal Studios. It was like the Universal ticket, so it included like SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, stuff like that. We mainly did Universal, and we did 2 days in Disney. We did 1 Magic Kingdom day and 1 Hollywood Studios day. And Magic Kingdom had always been this thing I was always really excited about.
Yeah.
And had been to Disneyland Paris since I was maybe 8. And we'd done that every year. And so when I went to Magic Kingdom the first time, my family are not they're not theme park people. And I said, have a good day, but I'm not coming around with you.
Bye.
Literally.
Thanks for paying for me.
Well, it was the first time I go, and they knew how excited I was. And I said, I honestly really want to do the Keys to the Kingdom tour. I want to know everything about this place on my first visit. So
you did the Keys to the Kingdom tour on your first visit?
Yeah.
The backstage of Magic Kingdom on the very first time you went?
Yeah. Because I was so into, I was always wanted to be an Imagineer. That's what I wanted from the offset. So I was super excited about getting to know how Walt Disney World worked. I had my big SLR camera with me, and I was taking pictures of the bins. I was taking pictures of the curb. I was like, how did they do this? And going on the Keys to the Kingdom tour for the first time. I mean, the tour guide was a bit shocked, but
yeah.
She's like, this is your first time here and you're doing this? But other than that, absolutely loved it.
See, I think I was like that on my first few visits, like when I was on Everest, and I was at that certain point where you turn around and go, right, how is this working now? How is, it's that little detail, isn't it?
Fun fact about Expedition Everest.
Oh, here we go.
Have you ever noticed that when you go up the chain, you can't hear the click, 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 click?
No.
You can't hear the click, click, click because there's a special thing that they use that a wheel goes up the chain at the same time the train is, and it creates a magnetic force to lift the clip off the track. So you feel like you're on an actual, like a T train, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to think you're on a roller coaster. You're supposed to think
you're on a train.
Yeah, you won't ever hear it. So if the ride does stop, the magnetic force gets lost and it falls back into the track and stops the train. I'm obsessed with this kind of stuff.
Now, Adam knows this because you actually have worked at Walt Disney World. The first time you went, did you think, I want to work here, I want to work for Disney?
Honestly, the first time I went, I thought I was never going again. I genuinely believed. Because back in 2012, flights were still well over $1,000 a person. I knew I'd one day come back, but it was never in my dreams that within 3 years I was going to be working there. It was a case that when I was leaving sixth form and everyone's kind of going through that phase of like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, what's happening, like I'm leaving school, what's going to happen? And that was when I kind of asked myself the question, if I could work anywhere in the world, where would it be? And I said Disney World, obviously, and then just Googled work for Disney World from the UK and found this exchange program.
And then you just applied and then that was it?
Not exactly. I applied...
It's like, this is your life. Like Piers Morgan's life stories.
I'm happy to share. I applied and then 3 months down the line, I got invited to the group interview, did the group interview. A couple of weeks later, got the face-to-face interview, did the face-to-face interview. And then they sent me an email to say, thanks so much, but we don't know yet.
Right.
That was like 3 months of waiting. And then I got another email to say, we still don't know yet. Here's another... So 9 months of my life was just put on hold, waiting for this.
This time you'd done your A-levels?
No, I just left school at that point.
Right,
and I got a job working at Chessington World of Adventures.
Close, near enough.
Loved it. And it was whilst I was working there that I eventually, after those 9 months, I found out I'd got the job and all my dreams came true.
So what was it like working for Walt Disney World?
If I could recommend it to everyone, I would, because you meet everyone from all over the world. It's the #1 tourist destination in the world, so you meet people from all walks of life. Getting to make magic on a regular basis and getting paid to do it is something special. Like when you're doing your traditions, which is your induction day, that's what they call it. They kind of teach you, like, if you want to make someone's day by giving them a free ice cream, by all means give them the free ice cream.
How many free ice creams are you allowed to give away as a cast member?
Well, it's a careful balance. They kind of, it's not obviously like, they kind of make it very clear, like, we are a business, we are trying to make money. However, if you want to make someone's day, you can. So having the opportunity to make magical moments all the time and then going around the parks on my days off and having them happen to me as like a day guest, I was like, this is the coolest place ever. So
what was the one magical moment that sticks in your mind most that you did for somebody else?
Okay, I love this question. So I was working. So for those of you who don't know, the program is working in the Rose and Crown in Epcot.
Okay,
and
that's the British pub in Epcot.
Yep, and that has a firework view out to the lagoon.
Yeah.
So you can have your meal essentially and watch the fireworks. And there was a little girl, I can even remember the table number on 510. She was just the cutest thing ever. Like they had come ready for the fireworks. The parents had obviously, they were just really, really kind people. And I was like, I want to make her day. And I'd found out that her favorite Disney princess was Ariel. And I knew that in the kitchen we had these souvenir Little Mermaid cups, which came with like a little glow light on them, on the straw and this and that. I was like, oh, okay, I can give her one of these for free. It's like not a problem.
That's nothing, is it? Yeah. Easy for them.
But I put the glow light inside the cup and put the lid on, so it was like glowing. And by this time, this coming up to the fireworks, it's nighttime. So I wrapped up the cup, the glowing cup, in a black napkin so you couldn't see what it was. And I ran out to her and I was like, oh my God, Molly, you're not going to believe this. I was just down by the lagoon and an Ariel swam up and gave me this, and I'd like made it a bit wet. And she kind of took it and I was like, Ariel gave it to you. She was looking at her mum and the mum was like, no, you can open it, sweetie, like go ahead. And as she opened it, she pulls the napkin away. It literally lights up her face whilst her face lights up. And she says, Mom, Ariel knew I needed a new nightlight. Oh. And I was like, oh my God. Even though it was just a small gesture for me, it meant everything to her.
The biggest thing to her, yeah.
And the fact that obviously I didn't know that they needed a new nightlight, and obviously one had broken or something like that.
Now, as a guest, what do I need to do to charm the cast members to give me a little bit of Disney magic?
I think that's the thing. Everyone, there's a lot of videos out there like how to get free stuff at Disney World, and it's kind of like, well, if you're just going about your day and being a nice person, being there for the cast members when they're dealing with some interesting people,
yeah.
I think they're more likely going to go above and beyond to make your day more magical, because that was kind of how we as cast members could get through the day. Because it's like for every one person that might ruin your day, there's 10 people that will make your day.
Yeah.
You want to be one of those 10 people.
Yeah. But everybody's there to have a magical time. Well, aren't they? Surely, well, what's the point of going if you're going to be miserable?
That's the thing. You think that, but there's a lot of people that A, either get dragged along, or B, go with expectations that like everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it's still a functional place. It's still a business. It's still a theme park. Rides are going to break down on occasion. Like sometimes it's going to rain and it's going to completely soak you through. Like there's things that people set and expectations. And I think it's normally a lot of mums kind of feel the pressure. Like this has to be the dream holiday. We're spending so much money on this that when reality starts to creep in, and don't get me wrong, it's a magical place and it is one of the best holidays you'll have in your life, but when the reality sometimes creeps in and you've missed a dining reservation or you're running late to a fast pass or something like that, the stress can build and it can affect anyone. It affects me on occasion, believe me. So
lower your expectations and pack your patience is what I was pack your patience. So when you finished your program, what happened then?
Well, I came back and I was working at a YouTube event. Well, actually, I wasn't meant to be working it. I was there as a guest because I was just very interested in... I started a YouTube channel. I was now interested in growing it and this and the other.
So you'd been filming stuff whilst you were working there anyway?
Yeah. So I'd actually started doing some like application advice videos for the program because there wasn't much information out there as to what the application process is like and this and the other. I had 9 months to film them. So I thought, why not? And there was a Disney stand there and I got chatting to the host of it, and I was like, I just got back from working in Disney World, and she was like, thank God, right, so we are short-staffed and I don't know if this is of interest, but do you want to volunteer for the weekend? And in my head I was like, I have paid like £100 plus to be here at the convention, but sure. So I helped her out for the weekend, and at the end of it she said, pass me a CV, I'll see if there's a job going in head office. And lo and behold, about 3-4 months later I was working at Disney Channel.
All right.
Worked there for 18 months-ish. When I left the company, my old manager in Florida was like, do you want to come back to Florida? So I did that for another program. And now I've been doing YouTube ever since. Like, it's now my full-time job at the moment.
So how many times do you go now as a vlogger to Walt Disney World? Do you feel like you've got to go, oh, I need some content, I better go?
Well, I don't want to get into the habit of going for the sake of going and going to make it work. Like, I very much treat it as I am going on holiday and I'm filming my holiday, and I think that's how you get the most genuine vlog experience.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to restaurants because I haven't filmed them for the vlog. I'm going to go to a restaurant because I've never tried it and I want to try it. It's a careful balance because it almost slipped into that. I remember watching one vlog in particular back and thinking, this isn't me having a fun time. This is me forcing myself when I'm not in the mood to go and film a vlog. That's when I was kind of like, let's just go back to basics, go have a holiday, film the holiday, and then end up with the content. And that's kind of how I've been doing it for the past year.
And you just film everything?
Pretty much, yeah. My camera doesn't leave my side. It's either in my pocket or in my hand. And the content you see is like 90% of what I filmed. So I'll clip the end and clip the start off of the clip normally, but it's pretty much anything I filmed, I'll put it in there because I like giving people the experience of them being there.
Yeah.
A little bit of walking through Disney Springs, a little clip of that, but then a little bit of, we went to Chicken Guy and it was really, really cool and I loved it. So I try to make it as immersive as possible. If the parade music is playing, you're going to get the parade music.
And you've got books out?
I have.
So when did you start writing?
Well, working there for 2 years and going as regularly as I do, you pick up a tip or trick or two and fun facts. And out of the guides that I've purchased to have a look at, they're Bibles. They're literally like a text-written thing about every single thing you can possibly do. And someone going for the first time is not going to be able to interpret that.
Too overwhelming.
So I saw like an opportunity for the kind of book I wanted to actually just write it. And I put kind of basic star ratings in there as to what priority I would give it. If you're going for the first time, like stick to the 5 and 4 stars. If you've been before, try one of the 1 or 2 stars. And I tailored it based on what family demographic you have. You going on holiday is going to be very different from a family of 8/10 people.
Yeah, who can only go when the schools are off. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And as a school holiday attraction priority list is going to be very different from like a winter priority list because you're going to be able to do more stuff.
Yeah.
There's icons in there that kind of help you navigate based on what your demographic is. And so I've done the one for Walt Disney World that's been out for about a year now. And Disney Cruise Line's coming out on November 19th.
Available from all good bookshops?
Available from Amazon UK, Waterstones online, and my website, adamhatton.com/books.
There you go. We'll put the links to that on our stuff as well. Now, we want to get some top tips from you.
Oh, go for it.
Being Mr. Walt Disney World. So we'll check in the latest news now. We'll see what's been going on in the parks over the last 7 days. And then Adam Hatton will be back with your restaurant and hotel recommendations and everything. Quick roundup of the news from the parks. Disney Villains After Hours is going to be coming back to Magic Kingdom in 2020. 24 nights from the 7th of February through to July the 10th. This is a ticketed event and it is going to cost you about $145 plus tax from $145 plus tax. For this, you get into the Magic Kingdom when the park is actually pretty quiet, and then you get shows like the stage show, The Villains Unite at Night, the Maleficent Dragon roams the streets, there's dance parties, and the rides are pretty much a hop on. It is like having the parks yourself. It's not like the Christmas or Halloween parties. This is more like a private event. These have been really popular last year, which is probably why they are back. You don't have to have a park ticket. This is your park ticket, which gets you in from 7 o'clock, and they start next year. DisneyWorld.com/villains after hours for more details of that. Also, the 1 millionth passenger on the Skyliner has already taken flight over the last week, even though it's only been up and running, just over a month. And during that time, it was down for a few days, but 1 million people have used the Skyliner, which takes you between certain resorts and Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And if you have ever used the fuel rods, these are great. I think I used this as a top tip a few weeks ago. If you are constantly draining your battery at the parks, fuel rods. So you buy them for $30. It's like a little battery pack, and then you charge your phone up. It's got a full charge in it, and then when that's gone, you just put it back in the fuel rod thing, and then you get another free one, and then you just keep going. However, from the 1st of November, you will have to pay for the fuel rod refills, and they will be $3 each, which actually is what they'll charge you over at Universal. It's the same system Universal have been charging for years. Disney, it's always been free. Until the 1st of November, you will be charged $3 for swapping your fuel rods to a fully charged one. Don't forget, you can keep up to date with everything that's going on at Walt Disney World and the other parks around Orlando. We are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @PodMagical. Adam Hatton on the podcast with me this week for a bit of a chat. We said that your book is out with loads of Walt Disney World advice. You've got the cruise book that's coming out in a couple of weeks as well. When it comes to Walt Disney World, then we want to find out your favourite things. So, favourite place to stay, best resort at Walt Disney World? You can only have one. Favourite Walt Disney World resort? Yeah, of course you can only have one.
Oh, that's like picking a favourite child.
I think everybody's got a favourite kid.
When it comes
they just don't tell them.
When it comes down to budget and value for money, I would say Pauline's Riverside.
Oh, I thought you were going to say French Quarter.
I have stayed at French Quarter, but it's a much smaller resort. So the quick service is a little bit smaller. And people love that. People love the fact that it's fewer guests and this, that, and the other. But for me, Riverside, it has the big plantation buildings and royal guest rooms, and they have the restaurant and the slightly bigger quick service. The quick service there is like one of the best. If you want to go for dinner or something and you don't want to go to a park or something, I think Riverside's pretty good. And then you get the boat to Disney Springs, pretty centralised in the property. So
probably the best bang for your buck.
I think bang for your buck, definitely, because you get a deluxe resort for the price of moderate. That's the reason I'd say that one if I had to only pick one, because Andy's cruel.
They just say all of them.
Yeah, but
have you stayed at all the resorts then, would you say?
All bar 3.
Where have you not stayed?
I haven't stayed at the Contemporary. I haven't stayed at Saratoga Springs. There is one more, but it's not coming to mind. All the values and moderates I've done, though. Coronado Springs is close second for value for money. Ever since they've opened their new tower, that
looks stunning.
It's a deluxe resort without the deluxe price.
Yeah.
So.
In terms of places to eat, have you got a favourite restaurant?
I love Trails End.
Never been to Trails End. Now, is this the one where the servers can give you a bit of sass, a bit of attitude? Is that the one where they give you, like, if you ask for sauce, ketchup, they will bring you like 20? Or am I thinking somewhere else?
Whispering Canyon Cafe. That's at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
This is where people kind of get lost, because there's a resort called Wilderness Lodge, but there's also a completely different resort called Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at a sign, the two look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Trails End is actually at Fort Wilderness near the Hoop-de-Doo Review. It's a nice restaurant because you get a bit of an evening experience there. They have the stables where all the Disney horses are kept.
Right.
So all the horses that are used on Main Street and for like the Headless Horseman at Halloween, the wedding horses that like trot the little Cinderella carriage out and everything like that, they're all at that stable and the restaurant's right by that. So you can kind of go, and it's got like this very Southern American bayou wilderness type feel that you can kind of stroll around, go in the shops, and you don't feel like you're in Disney World at all.
Is that where the campsites are?
Yes,
That looks massive.
Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground is the official name.
And then at Halloween and Christmas, don't the people who stay in the camps like go crazy with decorations?
They do, absolutely do. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that drive down with their camper vans and they set up all their Christmas decorations because they're literally staying there for a month. It's one of the few places you can actually afford to stay for a month.
Yeah. You bring your own money. And you get there, what would you say, the boat from Magic Kingdom to get there? Is that the quickest? Or
boat from Magic Kingdom, you can get I would normally go to Wilderness Lodge and then take the bus from there. If you're coming from a park, Magic Kingdom's very good. Or you can minivan it. A minivan will take you right up to where the Trails End location is.
Right. A bit pricey though, aren't they, the minivans? They're good. They're great.
They are. Have you done one?
Yes.
So Gary and I tried it for the first time. This is a little bit spoilers if you're watching the vlog series, but we tried it from Magic Kingdom after Mickey's Not So Scary. And we were like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, because it picks you up literally at the door of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, and you can't, there's no physical way, especially if you're going to Magic Kingdom, there's no physical way to get an Uber from Magic Kingdom unless you're going to the transportation ticket centre, but you don't have to deal with all the lines for going to the car park and the monorail and coming out of the park, a minivan. I'd highly recommend it. And yes, our trip that day was like $25, $30.
But yeah.
So yes, it's pricey, but at the same time, you're on holiday. It felt like we'd teleported back to the hotel room because they dropped us off right at the hotel room.
Yeah. And that only goes within the Walt Disney World resorts, although you can be picked up from the airport, can't you now? With
I think it's like $120.
I think it's
but I've heard, so talking to Magical Moments earlier, they do sometimes do magical moments where, like, for example, if a minivan's dropped a family off and they haven't got anyone to take back, they'll just randomly select someone who's in line for the Magical Express and take them right to their resort.
I'll get you be hovering around now. Go, before we get on the bus, let's just have a look if there's any minivan drivers.
It's very rare, but I've seen it happen a couple of times.
What about your favourite attraction? And again, you get one. It can be a ride.
I'm not going to come back, Andy, if you're going to keep treating me this way.
All right, because it's you, you can have two. You can have one ride and one other attraction.
I think if my viewers are watching, they'd be very offended if I didn't call out the People Mover as my favourite attraction. Love the People Mover.
How many people go to Walt Disney World and they come back and you go, did you go on the People Mover? What's the point of that?
The first time I ever went, I wanted to go on it, but I couldn't find the entrance to it because it was like in the middle. It was underneath the orbiter. It's just it's kind of losing its rep at the moment because you still have to wait a long time now.
You never used to wait at all for People Mover.
No,
but it's people like you that's making it popular.
I'm sorry.
2 hours, it was worse than Flight Passage.
No, my first program though, it was like 2013. You compare that to going now, the parks were never as busy as they were as they are now. Like you could walk on a number of attractions, like People Mover especially. I had to wait the other day for Carousel of Progress.
For how long?
Well, I had to wait for like the next show to come around.
Well, yeah, you had to wait full stop.
I was like, what? Where am I?
Why do you think that is? Because there used to be quiet times of year, but not anymore. It's just busy all year round.
My theory is that the flight prices have just come down. So, like I mentioned, when I went in 2012 for the first time, it was still over £1,000 to get a return ticket to Orlando. But with the likes of Norwegian Air coming up, we're offering like £350, £400 returns. Virgin and British Airways having to match that to be competitive now. Like, it's just become more affordable for a family to actually go.
Yeah.
And I think Disney's they're overwhelmed by it for sure. And they're putting the prices up to kind of counteract that, I think. Because that's the only thing they can do. They can't stop people from coming in.
No.
Well, they can, but that's when it's like at capacity, and that's sometimes tens to hundreds of thousands of people. So prices are just going to keep going up and up and up, I think.
You say you always book kind of last minute-ish when it comes to flights?
Yeah.
So how far in advance would you look at going?
I tend to book 90 days out. So that's when I'm not a travel professional. I don't know this, but from my booking...
Just your experience.
My experience... 90 days is about the time when the travel agents and the things like Virgin Holidays and stuff like that start selling the rooms back to Disney or saying we haven't sold these, have them back.
Right.
So I always book directly through Disney when I'm booking my hotel room specifically, and I always call up the US line.
Right.
And I ask for a room only rate, because if you're doing through Walt Disney Travel Company, for example, yes, you can book through them and it's still with Disney, this, that, and the other. But when you book directly on the phone for a room rate with the US, you get free name changes. You can cancel your reservation up to 5 days prior and get your deposit back and everything. It's a lot more flexible from a booking standpoint. And that's kind of helpful for me because sometimes I do need to change it around a little bit. And sometimes I like to put a placeholder in for a hotel that I want to go to, but then I might change it up, especially if I'm trying to surprise my friend Gary, which I like to do.
Check out the vlog series to find out why.
But yeah, about 90 days out, the flight prices are at the lowest price they're going to be, I think, before they start putting the prices up. Because when you book a last minute flight, it's going to be more expensive than a flight far out.
Because a lot of people would book now. Free dining is on for the next few days. I think it finishes soon, doesn't it? So that's for next year. So if you're looking at going this time next year, people booking now, would you say it'd be cheaper to book next year? But there again, you've not got the free dining.
I personally think free dining is not worth it for me. It's worth it for some people who have to book a holiday far in advance, who have to book holiday off and this, that, and the other.
And eat a lot. I
don't, and my friend Gary doesn't either. And that's who I'll normally go with if we're going to do a long trip. We'll share quick service meals. The American portions are bigger, especially if you're coming from the UK. It's not hard to share meals when you want to. It's we'll sometimes just get a croissant for breakfast and this, that, and the other. You don't have to use a quick service dining plan credit in order to have the best food of your whole trip, if you know what I mean. But also, when you're booking a free dining package, you have to book the package. So you have to book your tickets in advance. If you go 2 or 3 times a year, at least get one annual pass in your family, because you're getting 20% off your merchandise. Yeah. You're getting 15% off for certain hotels, 15% off at certain restaurants as well. And the pass holder discount comes out about 3 months before. Right. So you can't, and you can only do that on a room only rate as well. That's another tip. But yeah, but when you're booking a free dining package, the room rate is it's the full price. It's not going to be a reduced room rate for a free dining package because you're booking it so far in advance. But they will reduce those rates if it's not at full capacity.
I see what you mean.
It's a very risky game because if you definitely want to take a holiday in a certain time like that, you can't really do it last minute. Yeah. But for me, it works out I would say for couples and young couples, it works out really well. For a small family, it works out. If you're just getting one room, it's not hard to find somewhere to stay.
Would you always prefer to stay at Walt Disney World? I'm guessing you've stayed off-site as well.
Yeah, well, we've stayed in a villa as a family. I've stayed at Cabana Beach. I've mostly choose to stay on property because of the benefits you get of being on property. The extra magic hours included, the fact that I can get a discount on the room rate with my annual pass. Granted, I'm not renewing them at the moment, but it's... I know, spoilers.
Breaking news.
Well, they put the prices up for the annual pass.
It's quite a lot now, isn't it, for an annual pass?
So I think the way I've worked it out, this is only happening in the past couple of weeks that I've decided I'm not going to renew. I'm pretty sure you'd have to go 3 times on the UK ticket to make it worthwhile.
Oh, is there a separate annual pass for UK?
No, but if you're coming from the UK, you have to get the platinum one.
Right.
I think off the top of my head, it's between $1,000 and $1,300. I can't remember if exactly. Per person.
Before your flights and accommodation.
Exactly. But because of the exchange rate at the moment, it works out that you'd have to go. And the UK ticket is an amazing deal. It's £389 for 2 weeks of park tickets, water parks included, and your photo pass included. If you take the photo pass out, which is $180, $90, or you're going for basically £16 a day. Yeah. Which is mad. And I think if you're going to go twice a year, it does make sense to get, if you're a family, to get one annual pass to get the discounts and stuff like that.
it's always worth it.
I think this is just my opinion.
You've got another attraction, by the way, because
We skipped over that, didn't we?
Yeah,
we got sidetracked a little bit.
We went off on a tangent, but you've got like a parade or a show to choose now.
I guess Happily Ever After, but then again, we didn't see it on the last trip.
You didn't see Happily Ever After on your last trip?
No, it's too busy. If you're going like August through to December, when there's either Not So Scary or Christmas parties on every other nights that you can go and see Happily Ever After are just bedlam.
Yes.
Condensed. You've got the same amount of people trying to go and see Happily Ever After over 2 or 3 days now going to see it on one day. In fact, when I went in December last, there was no physical way to see the show. It was that busy.
Couldn't get in.
So we had to go to the Tangled Toilets in Fantasyland, which, by the way, is a great place to watch fireworks. You just can't see the projections. My thing is people terrify me. Like large groups of people are quite intimidating.
Yeah.
And I can kind of get a bit...
Too many people, I can't see my way out.
A little bit panic. Yeah,
a lot of people do, yeah.
What I'll tend to do is I'll normally go... I love the music of the show, and I'll normally go and watch them from Fantasyland or something like that.
Is there anything that is no longer at Walt Disney World that you miss?
I've only been going for like 7, 8 years.
There's a lot gone. Ellen's Universe of Energy has gone.
I think it needed to go. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. All those Ellen stands out there. Yeah, it was a nice ride. But going with my family when they came to visit me, I was very much taken aback by how they're not Disney fans, and they were coming to see me primarily.
Yeah.
But going around, like when they were walking through Tomorrowland and they were walking through Epcot and stuff like that, they're just like, this looks dated. That's the person Disney has to kind of accommodate. If they're going to grow and they're going to keep people coming back year in, year out, yes, you can have your core fans, but you kind of need to appeal to the general public outside of just the Disney fans.
Who are going to keep coming back.
Yeah, so Ellen's had its day and it needed to go.
20 years
I'm
ago.
sorry, Ellen, I love you very much, but no. And it was like 45 minutes long.
It was, but if it's a rainy day, you go, oh, there's no wait for Ellen's.
Yep.
That's an hour. That's an hour gone.
Every time they've made a change, I've enjoyed it. If you think about what Maelstrom was compared to what Frozen Ever After is.
Yeah.
And there's always this debate of should they change these things and should they get rid of that? And like when they get rid of Tower of Terror in California, you're like, oh no, I love Tower of Terror. How can you get rid of Tower of Terror?
And then you go on it.
And then you go
it's
on.
It's incredible.
And,
it's so good.
But the argument I heard, which was the thing that kind of changed my mind about ever kind of protesting like a change by Disney, unless they're going to take away the people mover, in which case I'll cry.
Chain yourself to the railing.
Yeah, we went as young people, kids, whatever the case may be, and we got to have a memorable experience that we'll remember the rest of our lifetimes. A child going today doesn't deserve to have that experience taken away from them by keeping an attraction that's been there for like 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
So if they're going to change it into an IP like Frozen, like Ratatouille, whatever the case may be, to make it a memorable experience for a child, go for it. I'm a Disney fan. I'm going to enjoy it regardless.
Yeah. What is your favourite Walt Disney World memory of all the times you've been? I've not asked you this.
Walt Disney World specific memory was when I just started working there. I was going into Magic Kingdom for one of my first days off, and I'd come straight onto Main Street. I don't know how I'd worked it out, but I timed it so that everything was happening at the exact same time. And this is the first time because from going there on holiday to now working there, I hadn't been back on holiday since. So this is like my second time actually going to Magic Kingdom, and I was by myself. The Dapper Dans were singing by the confectionery shop. The confectionery shop smell hit me in the face. Then I was walking down, the trolley show was on, and then they had the Philharmonic down by the castle.
Yeah.
And walking down there and having those three things smack you in the face.
All
one
your
after the
senses
other.
were bam.
Yeah. I just remember that walking in for like my proper first time and immersing myself in it. And I'd never seen the Dapper Dans on Main Street before. I'd never seen the trolley show or the Philharmonic. Like I was just like a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I had a good cry.
Anything else you like doing outside Walt Disney World?
I just rode Hagrid's, I need to get this title right, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, I think.
Something like that.
At Universal, which just opened this year, and I'm going to say something controversial. It's my favourite ride I've ever been on.
A lot of people have said this now. I haven't been on it yet, and I haven't seen...
Are you going to go?
Totally, yeah. I haven't seen any vlogs. I haven't seen
get ready
any...
for a wait.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's going to be running, because apparently it's now still not running in the afternoon. Is it like from 3 or 4 o'clock?
I think it's so basically they open it late and they close it early. As far as I know, I don't know this officially, but there's still technical problems that they need to kind of iron out. So I think it opens from like 11 a.m. and then closes at like 3 or 4. The wait time is probably going to be 2 hours plus.
I'll deal with it.
I have, if it's a quiet time, you're looking at maybe 80, 90 minutes, but I would happily wait that much. It was like when I first came off Flight of Passage, I'd waited 3 hours for that. And I was like, I'll do it again. I'll happily wait 3 hours again if it means I get to do it again. It's that good.
Oh, and it's not at Disney.
And it's not at Disney.
Not at Disney.
Well,
What-
Universal's kind of... Naomi from last week said that she had last been in 2014.
Yeah.
And she was talking about Universal's guest service and stuff like that. And if I was on this show in 2014, I'd completely agree with her. They've stepped their game up, though, I think, in the past 2 or 3 years.
It's that big competition with Disney then.
I think they've kind of understood we're not going to compete with Disney anymore. But Disney's got the families and the kids and the Disney fans have them, almost.
Yeah.
Universal's like, we need to make sure that all the Universal fans and the adult fans that are coming to Universal, we need to give them the best experience. I think they've kind of clued into that. Whilst I think they were too busy trying to compete with them directly, like opening things like the Despicable Me attraction and the Simpsons Land and stuff like that. I think they've kind of realised, no, we just need to be the best that we can be as Universal. And so the guest service has gone way up. The shows have gone way up. Like the entertainment was always something I thought was lacking at Universal. But their new nighttime shows is like World of Colour. It's really, really good. Is Universal a 2-week holiday? No, I don't think so. But is it worth a trip? Absolutely. And especially with Hagrid's.
Yeah. I think if you go into Orlando and you're only going once every 2 years, probably for most people, why wouldn't you go to Universal?
Yeah. And if you like you said, if you're that close, you might as well.
So we've got the vlog series running at the moment with you and Gary. I love Gary.
I love Gary.
Gary is the friend you want to take to Walt Disney World, isn't he?
Yeah,
Does he want to come when I go? He can come with us if he likes.
I'm sure he would jump at the
Everybody wants a Gary.
because he's normally vlogging it. He doesn't actually enjoy the editing side of it or anything like that. He likes having the finished product, but he doesn't like the vlogging whole aspect of it. So he wasn't vlogging this trip at all. And seeing him enjoy it more by not doing it, he doesn't want to force it. He wants to do it because he enjoys doing it. Made this trip so much better.
And that's it. Is it just going to be every Sunday that you're putting those out?
Every Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time is a new vlog. This is the longest vlogs I've ever done. 90 minutes was the first one. An hour and 48 minutes is the one I'm next posting when we're recording this.
There's plenty of things to fill in those gaps between Walt Disney World holidays.
Yeah.
Podcasts, vlogs, the book.
Yeah.
We'll put the links to all those on our socials as well. Yeah. Adam, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It's been great to see you, and we'll catch up with those vlogs and we'll get the book. The cruise, what date is the cruise one out?
November 19th, adamhatton.com/books.
Adam Hatton, have a magical day.
Thank you, you too.
Heading over to Orlando over the next week or two. The weather is nice. They apparently call this now the dry season, and the temperatures start to cool down a little bit. So you're looking about 28, 29, dropping to about 17, 18 overnight, which is really nice. Clocks go back in America this weekend, by the way, Sunday the 2nd. We did ours last week. They do theirs this week. Halloween is almost over. Pretty much it's 1st of November is the last Halloween party at Magic Kingdom, and then the 8th of November is the first Christmas party. Literally the park will get transformed overnight. There's loads of new merch coming out, and there's going to be new fireworks at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Next Friday, by the way, next Friday's episode will tell you everything about what's going on at Walt Disney World between now and Christmas into the new year. So that's next Friday. The Epcot Food and Wine Festival continues. As part of that, it's the Food and Wine Half Marathon. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1st, 2nd and 3rd, there's a 5, 10 and half marathon. Gets really busy this actual weekend because a lot of people take part in that. So I expect crowds to be really busy this weekend. Then it should start easing off a bit, maybe pick up a little bit next weekend. But quite a quiet time as we approach the few weeks before Thanksgiving, when it goes crazy. Then it goes quiet again for a few weeks in the beginning of December, and then obviously Christmas it goes crazy again. That's how it's looking for the end of the year. If you are going and you're going to go and try some dishes over the Food and Wine Festival, top tip of the week this week for Food and Wine is over at the refreshment port. Check out the duck poutine. Now, poutine is a big Canadian dish. Basically, it's chips with cheese and gravy. That's what it is. But they put different things on top of it. If you go to Le Cellier, you can get poutine on that. And there's a poutine place over at Disney Springs. It's a big Canadian delicacy, but they've got a duck one at the Food and Wine Festival. That's at Refreshment Port. Also at Refreshment Port, if you fancy a drink, Dole Whip, which is, if you've never been to Walt Disney World and you're not a Dole Whip, which is kind of like, it's a pineapple-y ice cream type thing. But over at Refreshment Port, during Food and Wine, they've got a Dole Whip drink that's got coconut rum in it. Yes, thank you. The Eat to the Beat concert series, that also runs alongside the Food and Wine Festival, playing this weekend, 2nd and 3rd of November, is Chris Allen, who was one of the winners on American Idol a few years ago. Then Boys to Men, 4th, 5th and 6th. Hooters, Big Bad Voodoo Ray. And then the 12th, 13th and 14th is Joey... Is it Joey Fat One? Joey Fatoni, you know the guy from NSYNC, he's going to be there. And then after him, 15th and 16th of November, is BB Mac. Remember BB Mac? Did back here? Yeah, they're going to be playing over at Epcot as part of the Eat to the Beat concert series. Don't forget, if you are in the parks, let me know. Tag us, Podmagical, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. In fact, by the time you hear this, I will actually be in the parks. So expect a few episodes from Walt Disney World over the next week or two. And I'll put loads of stuff on the Instagram stories as well. Our Instagram stories, I'll try and update that as much as possible. Top tip of the week this week. If you are going on Soarin over at Epcot, and of course you want to be going on Soarin at Epcot, try and get in Section B, particularly row 2, because that's right in the very middle of the screen and the Eiffel Tower won't look too wonky. That's my preferred seat anyway. You might have to wait a little bit longer, but Section B, row 2, maybe you have a bit different seat that you prefer. Let me know. You know where we are. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Podmagical. Thanks as well for your 5-star reviews on Apple Podcast. We have the most magical podcast on earth stickers. You can only get one of these by giving us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts. If you have given us a 5-star review, thank you so much. We got some stickers on the way to Wag531, who just loves listening to other people's memories and experiences at Walt Disney World. This podcast brings back so many great memories, and I can't wait to go back. Thank you for your 5-star review. We'll send you some stickers. Send me a message, DM me, get your address, and we'll send those out for you. Don't forget, leave us a 5-star review. Stickers coming your way if we read out your review on the podcast one week. We're back every Friday with regular podcasts, so make sure you subscribe to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.